taking my daughter to pick up my drunk husband. I heard his friend ask him, "Hua, it's been 7 years. Can't you still forget Jiangyi? Aren't you afraid that your wife will find out you took her and her son to the amusement park last weekend and make a scene?" Hua Qi sneered. She wouldn't dare. And these past few years, I can only get it up at night with the lights off, imagining her as Yi. So it turns out, on the day of my daughter's birthday, when I waited for him until dawn, and ended up with a high fever and in the emergency room for an 4 drip, he was at the amusement park with them, watching fireworks. The white moonlight buried deep in Hua Qi's heart is named Jiangyi, and our daughter is named Hua Yi. All the sincerity I've shown him over the years has become a joke. I opened my phone, looking at the messages from my childhood sweetheart, the actor, patiently explaining how to care for our daughter. I looked down at my daughter. "Honey, would you like to change dads?" Hua Qi thinks I love him to the bone, but what he doesn't know is that he's the best social class I can get close to. I want my daughter to be born in Rome, now that I've made a fortune. It's time for my daughter to experience real paternal love. My husband didn't come home after getting drunk. I took my daughter to pick up my husband, because I came in a hurry. I didn't dress up much. I squatted down and pinched my daughter's chubby face. "When you see your dad later, he needs to be sweet." My daughter crossed her arms and snorted. "I don't want to say hello. Daddy didn't come home all night. Daddy is a bad daddy. He didn't come to my birthday." I patiently educated my daughter. "Be good. Daddy is busy making money for you to buy toys, so he doesn't have time to celebrate E's birthday." My daughter retorted. "But mommy is also very busy. Has to work every day. But mommy can do housework every day. Take care of daddy, and spend time with me." I sighed and didn't say anything else. My daughter's dark eyes rolled around. "Mommy, E doesn't want toys. I just want daddy to be with me. The other kids' dads take them to the amusement park every week, but my dad hasn't taken me even once." Hearing this, my heart ached. I touched my daughter's hair. My daughter's birth was initially just an accident. Hua Qi didn't expect her arrival at all. That night's accident was also because Hua Qi treated me like her after breaking up with his white moonlight, and I gladly accepted it. After all, Hua Qi was the high and mighty prince of the Beijing circle, and I was just his little secretary. I don't know how many social classes I crossed to find him. Later, after I got pregnant, Hua Qi repeatedly asked me to abort the child. Finally, on the day he received the wedding invitation from his white moonlight, Hua Qi stopped me at the hospital. That day he was dead drunk, and he looked at me. "Zhou Yueying, let's get married." I excitedly agreed to his request. In his eyes, I was madly in love with him. In reality, I was madly in love with his money. I thought Hua Qi could restrain himself after marriage. After all, after our daughter was born, he once promised me that he would be a good father, but only verbally. Later, he was often out all night. Scandalous news flying everywhere. Even when he came back, it was just to use me as a release in bed. But I continued to play the role of a good wife and mother. Just like today, I've come to pick him up to go home. He thinks I love him to the bone, but what he doesn't know is that I manage the family business inside and out, and am dutiful to his parents. And by the way, transferring assets and starting my own business, he is the best class of person I can come into contact with. I want my daughter to be born in Rome, managing the family business inside and out, and being dutiful to his parents. My daughter's face changed even faster than mine upon hearing those words. She's already 6 years old and knows right from wrong. She sensed something amiss these days with her dad not coming home. I skillfully begin contacting the entertainment paparazzi and family AR with to stake out the nightclub. My daughter is particularly angry, and she pushes the door open. The private room is silent, and I turn around to yawn. letting a layer of water mist my eyes. Looking particularly wronged and sad. The leading friend immediately stands up when he sees us. Sister-in-law. My daughter questions him. Dad, was my name given to me in memory of that woman? My daughter's question is particularly sharp. And for a moment, which he doesn't know how to answer. My daughter then asks him, so, last week I waited for you for my birthday until I ended up in the hospital. And you didn't even come. Mom lied and said you were working overtime to make money to buy me toys. But actually, you were with that woman and her son, right? My daughter's crisp voice is particularly clear in the private room. And I, on the other hand, put on a tearful display, looking utterly miserable, which he, embarrassed and enraged, finally breaks down. Which he says angrily, Zhou Yueying, is this the well-behaved daughter you've raised? She actually dares to question me now. I immediately pull my daughter behind me. I look at Huiqi. My daughter doesn't need you to criticize her. I never thought you would dislike us so much, even using our daughter's name to commemorate another woman. Then what about my sincerity all these years? Is it a joke? After saying that, I wipe my eyes. Sad tears then look at Huiqi and say the sentence I have rehearsed thousands of times. Huiqi, let's get a divorce. Huiqi is stunned in place. His expression is colorful, but ultimately because his friends are present. He says to me, I'll give you a chance to consider it. Don't regret it. I say, I've already thought it through. The divorce agreement is already drafted. Just sign it when you get back. I close the private room door, take my daughter, and turn to leave. I hear Huiqi's friend say from inside, Hua. Sister-in-law seems really angry. Why don't you go out and coax her? Huiqi says dismissively, never mind her. Women are all like that. She'll be fine after a few days of being cold. My daughter looks at me worriedly. Mom, are you okay? I shake my head, take my daughter, and walk forward. I'm terrified that I'll burst out laughing any second. You know, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Huiqi's parents passed away a year ago. Huiqi is also a playboy, extravagant and wasteful, although I was very filial to my in-laws before they died. I could never warm their hearts. They were always wary of me, set up a trust, and even left a will before they died. If Huiqi divorces me, I will leave with nothing. Then they transferred all the houses to Huiqi's name, but through various means. I dug up almost all of Hui's senior executives and transferred the business to my new company. I cashed out from Hui's in various ways, mortgaged loans, and then established various subsidiaries of new energy, entertainment, and technology under my daughter's name, although Huiqi still holds 50 of the shares in Hui's. Now, after years of my management, Hui's has become an empty shell. Inheriting it is equivalent to directly inheriting billions of debts. Those houses and cars, plus the trust funds, are far from enough to repay his debts and mortgages. Whoever wants it can have it. Anyway, I don't want to continue playing the role of a virtuous wife and good mother in the declining Hui family. I dragged my daughter to the entrance of the nightclub and pretended to cry for a while, until the paparazzi I arranged to secretly photograph us sent me an okay message. Then I took my daughter to the car. The photo time was precisely controlled to about 1 minute. Because I was afraid my daughter would get cold, I got into the Cullinan with my daughter, and at that moment, my tears suddenly dried up. I pulled down the mirror and used foundation to make my complexion even paler. The driver started the car and drove towards the mansion on the hillside. The paparazzi sent me the photo and asked if this angle was okay. I looked at it left and right. Not very satisfied. I put a mosaic on my daughter and added a filter to the photo to make it more atmospheric. In the photo, I'm squatting down, hugging my daughter. My hair is messy, and my bare-faced makeup makes me look pitiful and broken. I'm dressed appropriately. My figure is well maintained. I've been very career-oriented these years. And am also a good mother. Am simply a perfect victim of marriage. I said. You can send it now. And send it at the same time as the last photo of Hu Qi and Bai Yuguang's mother and son gathering. And the day I took my child to the hospital, the headline should be, "The Crown Prince of the Beijing Circle cheats on a first-line female star. And the heartless cheating man doesn't go home on his daughter's birthday, but takes the female star and her son to the amusement park." Also, the title of this one is, "Young Master Hu seeks thrills late at night in a nightclub. Mrs. Hua and her daughter are miserably abandoned. Suspected marriage in a wealthy family is broken." When these two news stories broke, they immediately topped the trending searches. Jiang Yi's stage name is Jiang Wan. Few people know her real name. And after this reveal, many people naturally found out that my daughter's name is Hu Yi. And many netizens without morals began to ship their sugar romance. The person involved, Jiang Yi, posted a Weibo post triumphantly. "I am very happy." She also included a 9-grid picture of herself. I accidentally liked a Weibo post about how Hu Qi had a secret crush on her for many years but failed, and now wants to get a divorce and rekindle their relationship. One wave sets off 1,000 ripples. Jiang Yi is blatantly provoking me. At the same time, I received a private message from Jiang Yi on Weibo. She said to me, "Sister, after all these years, I didn't expect Brother Hu Qi still can't let me go. That day, I kept telling Brother Hu Qi to go home and keep you company, but he said he felt disgusted seeing an old woman like you and insisted on staying with me and my son." After saying that, she chuckled, covering her mouth. "If you ask me, your marriage management is quite a failure. Your husband's heart isn't with you. You're so pitiful. My husband's heart isn't with me. But my husband's money is all with me. Although I've lost my husband's love, I have a large sum of money and a daughter. Who's really the pitiful one?" Seeing that I read her messages but didn't reply, Jiang Yi became frustrated. She sent me another message. That night, Brother Hu Qi wanted me several times. He also gave me a lot of expensive jewelry and bags, and even bought me a new house and a luxury car. Hee hee. Watching Jiang Yi bounce around, I replied, "Your side hustle is quite profitable. I hope you get more business and prosper." After sending this sentence, Jiang Yi broke down. She started cursing me like crazy. I took screenshots of everything, unaware that these were all evidence of Hu Qi's extramarital affair. The property that could be divided from Hu Qi was already not much, but now it's even worse. Not only that, but I also want to sue the mistress and demand the return of marital property. Netizens commented below my Weibo post. "Everyone, move along. She loves him so much, even though her dear husband is cheating. She'll turn a blind eye because her husband is just making a mistake that all men in the world make. I bet 10,000 that she'll choose to forgive in the end." Hu Xiao's scandalous news has become a monthly thing. And you don't dare to say a word. You're embarrassed to have female president as your Weibo bio. Hurry up and change it to spoiled wife. After all, she climbed to the top with her big belly. Her in-laws tormented her a lot back then. She finally survived until her father-in-law died and her mother-in-law got sick. So she definitely doesn't want a divorce now. Sister Ying's famous quote, "They are all buses. And I am home." Can you not bother netizens with your family affairs every day? It's so annoying. I'm speechless. Don't scold Yuing, or she'll give you trouble. After all, she's the president of an entertainment company now. She still won't get a divorce in the end, so why bother? Hurry up and kneel down and issue a statement saying you believe in Hu Xiao. Of course, some people went to the White Moonlight Jiang Yi's page to scold her. At the same time, Hu's family shares began to plummet. At this moment, Hu Qi started sending me messages like crazy. His tone was commanding. Contact the public relations department to handle this matter properly. And now, immediately, use your Weibo account to issue a statement saying you believe in me, that we're doing well, and so on. Do I even need to teach you this? Don't even think about me coming home until this matter is resolved. I laughed out loud. Who wants you to come home? I have looks, money, a daughter, and no husband. Life is just too good. I took a screen recording of Jiang Yi's message and sent it to Hu Qi. I said, keep your dog on a leash. This is my lawyer's phone number. Contact them if you need anything. After saying that, I completely blocked Hu Qi. I had just finished discussing the divorce lawsuit and related matters with my lawyer when I received a flood of messages. I ignored everyone who inquired about my private life or offered sympathy, except for the one who sent the most messages. My childhood sweetheart. I opened the chat window and looked at the messages from Lin Shen, the actor and my childhood friend, patiently explaining all the things to consider when taking care of my daughter after she got sick. Over the years, he has always been by my side, maintaining a respectful distance. When I chose Hu Qi to climb the social ladder, he was still an unknown actor. He said to me, Ying, wait for me. Give me a few years, and I promise I'll give you a good life. I still rejected him and turned to Hu Qi. Over the years, Lin Shen has gone from a small actor to a big star, and from a big star to an award-winning actor. From the age of 20 to 30, he has never had a single scandal. He said he would wait for me until I was ready for a second marriage. Today, Lin Shen seemed a little excited, but he still respected me. He didn't ask me anything about my private life. His words were full of concern for my daughter. My heart fluttered. I looked down at my daughter. Sweetie, do you want a different daddy? My daughter looked up at me. Is it Brother Lin Shen? I want Brother Lin Shen to be my daddy. I smiled and stroked my daughter's hair. I sent Lin Shen a message. After I take care of the divorce in the next few days, let's give it a try. He replied almost instantly. Really? I took a screenshot. You can't go back on your word. How much of a bride price do you want? I've saved over 1 billion yuan over the years, plus 4 companies, 3 buildings, and 8 apartments. I don't know if it's enough. Why aren't you saying anything? You can't go back on your word. Okay. Does that mean we're boyfriend and girlfriend now? I looked at the messages Lin Shen sent and smiled slightly. Hu Qi thought I loved him to the bone, but what he didn't know was that he represented the best social class I could access. I wanted my daughter to be born into privilege. Now that I've made a fortune, it's time for my daughter to experience true fatherly love. I quickly packed my things and headed home. Lin Shen, who was filming abroad, was already going crazy. Or else I'll take a day off, fly over tonight to help you move, and fly back tomorrow to film. The password to my place is your birthday. Just go straight there. The entire second floor is yours. I replied. It's okay. I have a place to live. I'll move out first. Lin Shen said. Okay. Sis, you're working hard. I've already sent the moving company over. As always. Lin Shen thought things through more thoroughly than I did. The moving company arrived at the same time I finished packing. I didn't have much of my own stuff in this villa. Most of it belonged to my daughter. I quickly moved out of the hillside villa, and by the time I desettled everything late at night, my daughter was already asleep in her new room. The news was a raging storm, but I slept exceptionally soundly. It wasn't until a week later, when the stock price of the Hu Corporation plummeted, that Hu Qi thought of me. The lawyer called me and said Mr. Hu wanted to see me. Only then did I realize how furious Hu Qi had been that night. When he returned to the villa the next morning, intending to question me, he discovered that I had already moved out with my daughter. I took out the prepared divorce agreement and arranged to meet Hu Qi at the Hu family home in the afternoon. In the morning, I took my daughter to the police station to change her name. My daughter's name was changed from Hui to Zhou Yun. I also completed the transfer procedures for my daughter and contacted schools abroad. After finishing everything, I let the nanny take my daughter to eat her long-awaited McDonald's. Then, I prepared to negotiate with Hui. Just to be safe, I brought a few bodyguards. Hui was still the same as before. The moment I stepped into the entryway, I saw a pair of unfamiliar women's slippers. It was a style I would never wear, and a pair of sky-high heels, blatantly displaying their claim of ownership. I walked straight into the living room. The moment he saw me, his expression immediately turned impatient. Zhou Yueying, what trick are you trying to pull now? Jiang Yi and I are just having fun, fulfilling a regret in my heart. She poses no threat to your position as my rightful wife. I no longer wanted to listen to his grievances. I said, let's get a divorce. Hui said impatiently. You're playing hard to get again. I'm telling you, don't try this trick. You're only pushing me further and further away, making me feel disgusted. I looked at Hui. When have I ever played that trick with you? Hui was stunned upon hearing this. It seemed that in his memory, I had never been clingy or manipulative. I had always been a virtuous wife and loving mother, managing the company's affairs, diligently caring for his parents, and raising our child, even when he had scandalous affairs. I always generously laughed them off and came out to clarify. This seemed to be the first time I had made such a request in front of him. Hui frowned slightly. The previously indifferent expression suddenly showed a hint of panic. I said, the property has already been divided, according to your parents' wishes. I don't want a single penny of what they left you. The Hui Corporation is yours, and all the houses are yours. The companies and industries established after the marriage belong to our daughter, and she belongs to me. Mr. Hui, do you agree? The Hui Corporation has been a commercial giant for over a century. He has always looked down on the companies I founded in our daughter's name. In his eyes, they are nothing more than petty businesses. Hui looked at me. There is another option. You don't actually have to get divorced. You can still be Mrs. Hui and continue to manage the Hui Corporation. I curled my lips. Mr. Hui, your calculations are as shrewd as your parents. You have always been the shareholder of the Hui Corporation. Even if I work my whole life, it's just for nothing. I don't want to work anymore, and I don't want to endure it anymore. Hui raised his eyebrows. Why are you so petty? Other people's wives turn a blind eye. I can guarantee that I will come back to spend a day with you and our daughter every week. Don't be ungrateful. I covered my mouth, slightly surprised. Then thank you for your grace. I am truly flattered. Mr. Hui, you are so shameless. However, you should save these things for your soulmate. I looked at Hui, and my smile faded. Hurry up and sign it, Hui said. I don't agree. Just as we were in a deadlock, the door of the villa was opened. Jiang Yi, dressed exquisitely, walked in with sunglasses. She put on those women's slippers, and a little boy followed behind her. That was Jiang Yi's son with her ex-husband. Jiang Yi's voice was extremely gentle. Chiga, she gave the son beside her a wink. The son quickly understood, and immediately hugged Hui's leg. I want Uncle Hui to be my dad. I want Uncle Hui to be my dad. The playground Uncle Hui built for me is so much fun. Hui patiently rubbed his hair. I'm glad you like it. When I saw that child, my heart suddenly clenched. A few days ago, Hui had also brought this child to the company. At that time, Hui said that it was a colleague's child, and asked me to take care of him for a few days. But I didn't expect that during the days when I was helping Jiang Yi take care of the child, they had already slept together. At that time, this child also had a dispute with my daughter over toys. Hui even scolded me when he found out. He said that my daughter was raised without any manners. I will always remember Huiqi's expression at that time. He said, like mother, like daughter. Raising the child to be as shallow as you. Seeing my gaze fall on the child, Jiangyi was a little scared. She pulled her son behind her. I looked at Huiqi. This is the colleague's child you mentioned, and you degraded me and my daughter for this. Huiqi obviously remembered what he had said a few days ago. He said after a long time, "Tu just wanted a son. Your stomach has been quiet for so long, unable to leave an heir for my whole family." I wanted to laugh a little. What's the point of leaving an heir? Inherited your loans. I watched Jiang Yi's son shamelessly fawning over Huiqi, and I thought of my daughter, who was always so cautious. My daughter knew from a young age that her father didn't like her, so she always tried her best to get Huiqi's praise. But Huiqi actually built a playground for another man's son. Another man's son received love effortlessly, while it was as difficult as climbing to the sky for my daughter. How laughable. I looked at Huiqi. Mr. Hua, do you remember the last time you were so patient with your daughter? You've never taken your own daughter to a playground. Yet you spent a fortune building one for another man's son. May I ask if you have some kind of cuckold fetish? Hearing my words, Huiqi's face immediately changed. Huiqi said, "Zhou Yueying, don't be unreasonable. Xiao Tong is a boy and a guest. It's only natural for me to be nice to him. My daughter can't be spoiled. Otherwise, what will happen when she gets married?" I scoffed. "Okay. You don't have to worry about me and my daughter in the future." Huiqi said, "Don't regret it. You won't get a penny from the Hua family." You're such a calculating person. You've repeated that countless times. Huiqi. Only when I stopped pretending did Huiqi realize how formidable I was. Looking at Huiqi's awkward expression, Jiang Yi came out to smooth things over. Jiang Yi looked at me with the air of a hostess. Feigning surprise, she said, "Oh dear. I forgot that Brother Qi had arranged for Miss Zhou to come over today to discuss the divorce." I looked at Huiqi. My gaze then fell on the divorce agreement. I raised an eyebrow at Jiang Yi and her son. What to do? Your Uncle Hua doesn't seem to want you to be his son, nor does he want your brother to enter the family. Jiang Yi became even more delicate. Looking at Huiqi, "Brother Qi, didn't you promise people?" I said. "I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Your brother Qi obviously doesn't want to divorce me." Hearing these words, Jiang Yi's face changed. She rushed over and took out a diagnosis certificate from her Hermes bag. "Brother Qi, I'm pregnant. The doctor said it's a boy. The Hua family has an heir." With this combination of moves, Huiqi's scale completely tilted. I only have one daughter, and in Huiqi's eyes, a daughter cannot inherit the family business. He looked at me. "Yueying, I can't be without a son. I still need a son to inherit my family business." He then tentatively asked me, "If you're willing not to divorce, this child can be born and raised by you, and you will still be Mrs. Hua." Hearing these words, Jiang Yi's face changed drastically. She nestled against Huiqi in a coquettish manner. "Brother Qi, what are you saying? I am the child's mother. I certainly can't give him to this bitch." I looked at Huiqi. "You're just as disgusting as your parents. After using me up, you're still pretending to be a good person here. If you have the ability, transfer all the properties and cars to me first, and I might consider it." Jiang Yi rebuked me. "Don't dream. You were always just a substitute for me. Being Mrs. Hua for these past few years has already been a bargain for you, and now you dare to come and try to take my son's inheritance." After saying that, Jiang Yi leaned into my arms and said sweetly to Huiqi, "Chiga, look. This woman really can't let go of your family's assets. Still trying to get her hands on our son's inheritance. Hua's parents' dying wish was to be able to hold a grandson." Huiqi hesitated only for a moment before signing the divorce agreement. He said to me, "Zhou Yueying, You forced me to do this. Don't regret it. I took the divorce agreement and left. My daughter's application for studying abroad was also approved. A month later, on the day Hui and I obtained our divorce certificate, he turned around and went to the marriage registration window with Jiang Yi to get their marriage license. My daughter's application for studying abroad was also approved. I took my daughter to the country where Lin Shen was filming. Lin Shen took a month off, and the three of us took my daughter on a month-long global trip. My daughter had an especially great time. Some media outlets tracking Lin Shen photographed us together, and news of my alleged affair became a trending topic. Articles about Lin Shen being a kept man were consistently at the top. After the company investigated, it turned out that Hui was behind much of this. Many media outlets called to interview me. I directly issued a single statement. Mr. Hua and I are parting ways peacefully, each going our own way. Furthermore, I left with nothing, and I have custody of my daughter, who has officially changed her name to Zhou Yun. Jiang Yi also posted her marriage certificate, proving that she is now Mrs. Hua. According to the lawyer, Hui contacted me many times. I didn't respond. Hui, who was supposed to have a peaceful breakup, exploded online. He directly DM'd me. Who allowed you to change our daughter's name without my permission? You're a complete lunatic. Who allowed you to let a strange man take my daughter on vacation without my permission? Who allowed you to transfer my daughter to a different school? Zhou Yueying. Get her back here right now, or I'll tell everyone about everything you've done to me over the years. About how you were willing to be a substitute and sleep with me. I didn't stand on ceremony with Hui either. I turned around and highlighted everything Hui had done over the years and forwarded it all to the marketing accounts. It's true that Hui didn't celebrate his daughter's birthday. It's also true that his daughter was hospitalized that day because she waited too long for Hui because Hui was with Jiang Wan and her children at the amusement park. I have photos and hospital diagnoses to prove it. It's false that Hui built an amusement park for his daughter. It was actually built for the child in Jiang Wan's belly. I have a recording to prove it. It's true that Hui treated me as a substitute for Jiang Yi. I was willing that night, but my daughter wasn't doing well, so I got a divorce. I left with nothing. But I have management rights over the company that I built under my daughter's name. Hui named his daughter to commemorate Miss Jiang, so I went and changed my daughter's name. In addition, I directly released a screen recording of Jiang Yi scolding me behind the scenes. Miss Jiang's words have caused me severe emotional distress, and I have retained a lawyer to file a lawsuit. Then, finally, I released even more explosive news. Spreading rumors about me is pointless. It was my choice back then, and I don't regret it now. Having crossed social classes with my daughter, I am still grateful to Mr. Hua, her biological father. I also extend my heartfelt wishes to Mr. Hua and Miss Jiang for the arrival of their son in 5 months. A stone stirred up 1,000 waves. Jiang Yi went from being the new Mrs. Hua in a white moonlight reunion drama to being a vicious mistress who forced out the orgy. NAL wife while pregnant. And Hui became an unfaithful man who used up his ex and still forced her to leave with nothing. The two of them were directly subjected to a full-scale online hate campaign. After resolving the divorce, Hui discovered another pressing problem. The Hua Corporation had become an empty shell. Very few people were left who were willing to stay. The rest left with me, in the face of profit. So-called emotions are not worth mentioning. I was not surprised when the lawyer contacted me. Hui demanded that half of the shares of the company under his daughter's name be given to him, otherwise would sue me for transferring marital property. I replied with 2 words. Suit yourself. On the day Hui filed the lawsuit, I held a press conference. Flashes of light poured down like a torrential rain as I adjusted the microphone in front of the podium. Hui's legal team sat in the front row, smirking, while Jiang Yi played with her diamond ring in the corner. Wearing sunglasses, I signaled my assistant to turn on the projector. Regarding Mr. Hua's accusation that I transferred marital property, this is the financial flow of the Hua Corporation over the past 7 years. A dense mass of red arrows appeared on the screen, all pointing to overseas shell companies. The reporters in the audience were in an uproar. I said, and the actual controllers of these companies are Mr. Hua himself. The screen switched to the equity transfer documents signed by Hua Qi. The title deeds to the luxury house that Hua Qi had gifted to Jiang Yi and her son during my marriage with him were also exposed. I looked at Hua Qi expressio. Leslie, Mr. Hua, may I ask, who exactly is transferring marital property? Now, for the sake of your new wife and child, you want to take away your daughter's shares. We have already left with nothing. How far do you want us to go? All the spotlights shone on Hua Qi. Hua Qi stood up abruptly. Forgery. It's all forgery. He loosened his tie and tried to rush onto the stage, but was stopped by security. I raised the forensic appraisal report. The handwriting analysis just came out this morning. Do you need me to read out the name of the appraisal agency? Mr. Hua. Hua Qi was completely devastated and became a laughingstock for netizens. While he was raging helplessly in the luxury house, Jiang Yi was quietly transferring his few remaining cash assets. Planning to run away. It never rains but it pours. Jiang Yi's previous failed marriage came back to haunt her when her ex-husband came out to add fuel to the fire, directly producing evidence of Jiang Yi's affair. He said that the child Jiang Yi took away was not his own, advising Hua Qi to get a paternity test to avoid raising someone else's child in the future. Hua Corporation's stock plummeted to rock bottom. The Hua family's stock plummeted to rock bottom. Seeing this, the elders who hadn't followed me also started their own businesses. Hua Qi had completely become a rat everyone wanted to beat. Soon, Jiang Yi's dream of marrying into a wealthy family shattered. The private investigator I sent learned that the moment Jiang Yi's ex-husband came out to criticize her, Hua Qi dragged Jiang Yi to the hospital for amniocentesis. The final DNA test proved that the child in Jiang Yi's belly was indeed not his. I heard Hua Qi was furious. Jiang Yi thought that her white moonlight halo could still make Hua Qi forgive her, but she didn't expect that Hua Qi had always liked what he couldn't get. Once he got it, the white moonlight would turn into plain rice. Moreover, in his eyes, Hua Qi immediately applied for the annulment of the marriage. Jiang Yi had already run away with the child and the one in her belly. Hua Qi sold all his luxury houses and cars, barely scraping together a portion of the penalty for breach of contract. But it was still a drop in the bucket. On the day Hua Qi helplessly went to prison, his daughter and Lin Shen returned from abroad, coincidentally filming near the prison. Under the cluster of lights, a crisp voice, "Daddy." Hua Qi turned his head to look at his daughter, a look of relief in his eyes. But the next second, his daughter threw herself into Lin Shen's arms. "Daddy, have a smooth shoot. Mom and I will wait for you at home." Lin Shen squatted down and kissed his daughter on the face. "Okay, baby." Hua Qi looked at me in disbelief. "Zhou Yueying, what are you teaching the children? It's ridiculous. I'm her father." I curled my lips. Children don't need to be taught. They know who is good to them and is willing to be their father. People like you, who accompany others to amusement parks and disregard their own daughters, are the real joke. I turned and left, leaving Hua Qi, who was being escorted into prison, behind me. In front of me was the sweet scene of my daughter and Lin Shen snuggling together. I could finally embark on my new life.